Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Candidips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Candidips CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BellyUp20 at CanadipsCBD.com. Once again, BellyUp20 at CanadipsCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of BellyUpSports. If you guys don't know, Olympique Lyon has received a provisional relegation for next season. So what does that mean? It means that Olympique Lyon must correct their financial situation, which we're talking about over $530 million in debt. They must get that situated, or else come the summer, they are going to be relegated into League Two. That is in fact the scenario that is being put on on Olympique Lyon. Along with that, they will be facing a transfer ban because obviously last thing they need to be doing is throwing more money onto their debt. So that was also another thing that was brought in. So while they're trying to correct their finances, they will be very much under the supervision of the DNGC, which is Direction Nationale du Contrôle de Gestion. Don't know what that means in English, but I'm sure this is like a financial correction control group, I'm guessing, to make sure that Olympique Lyon does not add more debt. At least that's what my understanding is. That so what does Olympique Lyon have to do? Well, they have to sell as many players as possible while also still trying to stay competitive. So if you guys don't know, Olympique Lyon is currently 5th place in Ligue 1. So that's going to be very defeating, right? If you're having a fairly respectable season, obviously it's not within the standards of Olympique Lyon. If you guys even know about Olympique Lyon or Ligue 1 in general, Olympique Lyon is one of the more successful teams in Ligue 1. But they're currently in 5th place. And I think this just kind of goes back to the fact of how many French clubs have really struggled throughout the years. I think Ligue 1 is not necessarily the most attracting league when it comes to the Power 5. Obviously when you talk about the Power 5 leagues, the teams in Europe, the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and of course Ligue 1. And you've heard me and Edward at least a few times on this podcast where we're not entirely sure if Ligue 1 even deserves to be that 5th team in the Power 5. I still say they do, and that's because of PSG. And I think that kind of is also another reason why the French league has had its struggles, because of just PSG's dominance since being bought out by the Qatari group. It's made it very, very unappealing to any team, and obviously kind of similar to how Germany, where Bayern Munich was just dominating that league for years and years, and just buying players from that league to improve their team, kind of hindered a lot of the teams that were in the Bundesliga. You arguably can say the same thing that happened in Ligue 1. A lot of the French players, and I mean, obviously, everyone says Ligue 1 is the farmers' league, so a lot of the teams are, their players are getting plucked out to go play in Europe, and it's the never ongoing struggle, and so these teams just can't get anything consistent. And obviously, the easiest way to gain money is by winning matches, winning trophies, being appearances in big European competitions. And it's just not easy when you have a team that has so much money, can buy the best players to come play for their team, and they dominate the league for years and years. So, and like I said, this isn't just an Olympique Lyon issue. We've seen other teams actually fold because of, and I'm not saying PSG's fault is that, but I mean, Ligue 1 has had a lot of lack of coverage, and which led to why, McDonald's is now the sponsor for Ligue 1, but the money is just not flowing in Ligue 1, and you could probably argue maybe PSG doesn't help it, but other teams have also been impacted by it. We saw Bordeaux dropped to the fourth division. They lost their pro status, because of the lack of finances that they had. And Bordeaux, also a team that has success in Ligue 1, is no longer near it. They're now a pro amateur team. So it's one of those things that just happens, and I think Saint Etienne was another one, but they ended up finding a buyer to help support their club. So it's just one of those things that it piles on, right? It just continues to pile on, and Olympique Lyon, unfortunately, is one of the teams that is now getting impacted by same kind of similar issues. They do have some players worth a note, so, and there has been a lot of teams that are looking to take advantage of the fire sale that is Olympique Lyon. But the question will be for Olympique Lyon, can they afford to lose this player? And obviously, the money that's going to come from it is going to be beneficial for them by all means. But at the same time, like, if they lose some important players, that can impact them from, end up being relegated. So it is definitely a really tough spot at catch-22 for Olympique Lyon, where they had to kind of really dig deep and understand, like, can this player go and we won't be hurt? And I mean, one thing about Olympique Lyon, and I think a lot of people maybe don't think about it now, but obviously a lot of big names came from that club. Hugo Lloris is a name, Karim Benzema, Tolisso, like I said, a lot of names come from there. I know Cherki is a name that a lot of teams are interested in as well. But yeah, Olympique Lyon has a really good academy. Maybe not as notarized as Ajax and Barcelona is, but very much up there, especially when you think of the names that have come out of Olympique Lyon over the years. There's a lot of Olympique Lyon influence across the world of football. So I think they have at least that in their arsenal, that maybe they have the next big player. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Lyon. I think especially when you're in the position where you're in now, where you're doing fairly well last year, it was a completely different story. But I think this season now you want to stay afloat because you're being competitive at least. And now that you're getting hit with this bomb, the pressure is now, who can we afford to lose? Because they gotta find a way to drop this 530 million debt. And so we'll see how it gets there, what they do to get there, to stay in Ligue 1, and hopefully what they have to what they have to do will at least not hurt them enough to where they stay in Ligue 1. So they're not relegated just yet, but it is a team that's a lot of people are gonna have a lot of eyes on, because of the fact that those players aren't gonna want to stay and be in League 2. Like, there's gonna be players that there's players that are loyal. I'm not saying that there isn't, but not everybody is gonna be patient enough. So we'll see what happens there, man.